morning, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of CII 2025 annual conference, Building Harmony. So before we go into the presentation, I'm going to start with a safety moment. So here is a picture of a construction site. Let's see how many safety hazards we're going to identify in less than 10 seconds. So I see a rope, which could be a trip hazard. There's a missing mid-rail. There are potential gaps there, which could affect the stability of the scaffolding. What else? OK, I think 10 seconds is done. What we like to do today is, let's see how OpenAI, if I'm going to use the same picture and share it with OpenAI, I want to see how many it's going to find. As you all know, ChatGPT is OpenAI's large language model chatbot developed by OpenAI, and it uses natural language processing. And you can see it has identified a little more than what I did, and it took less than 10 seconds. So the intent of the safety moment and the subsequent presentation is not to prove that you should replace your safety knowledge or expertise with OpenAI or any other AI platform, but rather we have identified use cases, areas where AI can help to enhance your day-to-day construction safety. With that, I will pass it on to my dear friend Carmel to kick us off for our presentation.
Thank you, Yuvi. And thank you all for joining Research Team 422, Enhancing Safety with Artificial Intelligence. Safety is the backbone of the construction industry. However, complex projects, ever-changing conditions, hazardous environments, accelerated timelines have made it one of the most dangerous. Artificial intelligence is primed to help curb these trends. Through automation, monitoring, and predictive analytics, we can find a way to enhance construction safety in workers' lives as well as improve productivity. In today's presentation, we want to take a little bit of a deep dive into how you can leverage AI in your construction sites and the benefits and the challenges behind doing that. My name is Carmel Glumac, and I'm with Kiewit. Today, I am joined with Yuvi from FTI Consulting, Sarah with Procter & Gamble, Brad from Oracle, and Dr. Lee with Louisiana State University. I promise I'm pressing the button. Our research team comprised of 20 individuals who met every other week for the last 6 months. So our kickoff was in December of 2024. And what we wanted to do was put together something that allowed you guys to access the tools in a short amount of time because artificial intelligence changes so quickly. Our research leaders include Dr. Lee from LSU, Dr. Kim from Texas A&M University, as well as Dr. Anderson, also from A&M University. And in today's presentations, I'm going to talk through the state of construction AI, the state of artificial intelligence. We'll then go into how you can leverage AI in your construction sites, and then what's next for you and your projects. So the construction industry accounts for 4.5% of the US GDP. That equates to $2.2 trillion in 2024. And as you saw from the Economic Forum yesterday, that number has actually risen to $2.3 trillion. And in that time, we employed around 8.3 million workers, surpassing the previous high that we held in 2006. Now, with all those numbers and what we saw yesterday, it's very clear that we have not reached zero recordables. We want to be injury and incident-free. Out of those, and because of that, construction remains one of the most dangerous sites to work on and one of the most dangerous industries, accounting for 1 in 5 workplace deaths. And in the private sector, that number was at 23.71% of fatal injuries. Now, non-fatal injuries or lost time accidents were at 170,000 people, averaging about 11 days per year of lost time. And when you put that into monetary value, that's $5 billion in lost production time, family income, pain and suffering, and reduced quality of life. Now, these are very sobering numbers. This is nothing that we want to have to come up and talk about, but something that needs to change. The same 4 incidents continue to exist: fall from heights, electrocution, struck by, and caught in between. These accounted for 65% of fatalities and 40% of non-fatal injuries. Now, what our research team tried to do was look at what can we do now to change this. And technology is what we usually go to, and we wanted to look at what technology is the most up and coming in the next 10 years that can make the biggest impact. And we believe artificial intelligence is that technology. Now, when you think of artificial intelligence, I know some people's mind goes straight to Terminator, right? A human-sized humanoid robot that shapeshifts, becomes very self-aware, and tries to destroy humans altogether, right? But that's not what artificial intelligence is. Realistically, it is advanced technology that bridges the gap between humans and technology, a type of co-creator that assists with all sorts of tasks. And Research Team 415 did this very well yesterday in their Darlene presentation, where they showed that in 2040, it's very possible that robots, as well as artificial intelligence, will help solve problems differently and help provide global solutions. Now, the McKinsey survey from March of this year stated that 78 of their respondents use AI in at least one business function. Those top 3 business functions are service operations, software engineering, and knowledge management are your GPTs. Now, there's also inherently risk associated with that, which we will get to shortly. Now, you guys probably use AI in at least one function that you don't realize, because AI has snuck into our lives very secretly. So if I were asked for a raise of hands, I would say the majority of people have probably used the Google web browser in the last 24 hours. And if you've used Google, you'll see that when you type something in, it pops up a Google AI overview. And this is Autobot automation, in which they execute with little judgment from a human being. So what it's trying to do is say, we know your patterns and we'd like to provide you with the best information. Now, all my Microsoft friends are probably like trying to jump out of their seat and say, Microsoft has one too, it's called Copilot. And yes, Microsoft also has applications as well between large language modeling and conversational AI. So if you ever notice when you try to type an email now, AI would like to prompt you to what it thinks you're going to say next, because it's been watching and trying to give you better recommendations. Predictive analytics was made very popular by Netflix. So if you watch a streaming service now, you watch a TV show or a movie, it wants to predict what you want to watch next. And if you want to really pull a prank on someone, you go into their account and you watch all kinds of things they never watch, and it takes them forever to actually clear it out. It's really fun when you're doing it to someone that you love. But predictive analytics is used right now in the construction industry by using a set of data inputs. You can predict when equipment might fail, where the highest risk at, and where there's injury and incident prevention. Generative AI is one of the most popular types of content creators of this day. So in 2024, or December 2024, Coca-Cola made their first generative AI ad, in which they used no humans. The computer made it. And if anybody saw the video of Darlene and Daryl yesterday, that was created by Gen AI by someone in their team. And companies have caught on and they've said, we're going to put more money into Gen AI because that's less money to production teams, marketing teams, actors, and actresses. In the safety world, OSHA has created what they call a video Gen AI, and it's an OSHA accident incident report. So this one, you can go through it and see that it's not all realistic, but it gives you a good idea of how an incident could occur. And you can use this for training purposes or to show later on how an incident might have happened. Now, there's several other types of AIs that would use behavioral profiling, risk profiling, injury and incident prevention, but instead of me listing them all, I'd like to take a step back and look at what it would be like in the day of a life design engineer.
Thank you, Carmel. Okay, so now we're going to get into the day in the life scenarios. I'm Brad Zanetti. I'm going to kick things off with the day in the life of a design engineer. Now, I was given 2 rules by the wonderful people that put this up here, the wonderful people that make up my research team. They said, Brad, don't go over time, number one. And Brad, do not mention any of the products that your company represents. And they said, stop crossing your fingers behind your back. So I'm a man of my word. I'm going to do that. Now, when I mention AI, if my face gets red and veins start popping, just know I'm exercising a lot of control. But this is important to us, not only because of AI, and this is the field that a lot of us are starting to tread into, but because it's safety. We're talking about people that we care about. We're talking about our coworkers. We're talking about our family and friends. It's meaningful. It's extra meaningful. But we talk about AI all the time. How many times have you probably heard AI within these past day and a half? Soon to be 2 days, a lot. So we said, okay, what do we mean? What are we actually saying? Somebody's saying, well, artificial intelligence. No, no, no. What are we actually saying? They're saying natural language processing. No, no, what does that look like? So we came up with use cases, and we spent a lot of time on those use cases. And what we did is we boiled them down into these day-in-the-life stories. So now we get to go up here and just tell a story. It makes it more fun for us and hopefully more fun for you. So right now, I ask you to put on your imagination hats. Some of you are already design engineers, which is wonderful. Some of you are not, like myself. But right now you are. You're a design engineer. You could be a mechanical engineer. You could be a lighting, electrical engineer. You could be a structural engineer. For my friends who work in the EPC vertical, maybe you're a engineering, special equipment engineer, design engineer. I come from the world of mining. So I grew up in Northeast Pennsylvania. I live in New York. I grew up in the mountains of Pennsylvania. You're probably thinking, and he talks like that with that accent? Yes, this is what happens when your father's from New York and your mother is Robert De Niro. But you could be a mining engineer. I know we have our oil and gas friends here too, such as mining an oil cracker, what have you. We are an engineer right now. We're like, okay, I get the point. But now what you see on the screen are 4 scenarios. I'm only going to talk about 2 because, like I said, they're going to pull the curtain on me. But let's look at facilitate hazard and operability studies. We know this as HazOps. If you don't, that's okay. HazOps are a wonderful deliverable to get a lot of smart folks that are all around the project from multiple disciplines to talk about the operations and the safety of this project, no matter what the phase is. So as a design engineer, we have some pretty important inputs to give, right? We have, of course, the design documents that eventually evolve into construction documents that we should know very well. We should be familiar with the specs, too, the specifications. But in this process, typically we form the HazOps team. It's made up of us design engineers, but it's also made up of the boots-on-the-ground superintendents and the project managers. It's also made up of the safety engineers and the safety managers, maybe the specialty trade contractors, maybe a representative from the owner, maybe the facilities manager. They're important too. So as we go through this, we're now going to introduce this concept of agentic AI. That's an AI agent. This is what we're starting to see now today. And that's really a agent that is composed of multiple modes of different AI capabilities that Carmel was mentioning, right? So walking through the scenario, normally we'd have to form the team, schedule the meetings. There's a lot of project management that's involved. A lot of you guys know something about project management. But in this case, we're relying on the agent, where we're having natural language conversations, which uses natural language processing to allow us to do things like voice to text, to talk to this agent and say, hey, schedule a meeting with the HazOps team. Now it's scanning the calendars, schedules that meeting, and we're getting one step closer to figuring out this deliverable. But what else is included? Well, we have to determine the inputs, the guardrails, the requirements, the goals. You can help with recording notes, right? AI picking up on speech and translating that into text in your meetings. But let's continue forward. These are things that you're familiar with. These are things that you're using every day today. But now we're getting to the point where we're identifying risks. As design engineers, we want to identify risks that are related to our work, our design. Now we're thinking, okay, well, I want to see if there's a pattern of near misses or safety incidents around certain design assemblies. So I talk to the AI agent, the HazOps agent, as we're now coining it, and the HazOps agent will allow me to get in touch with some of the safety managers relevant to these projects that I want to talk to them about. And I identify these risks. I talk to them. I have these real-life conversations. It's not always through robotics and AI and virtual chat, but AI can help facilitate these conversations. Now we're identifying these risks, and we also want to figure out how to mitigate these risks. Well, we can leverage generative AI to help propose alternatives or identify some of these risks, what-if scenarios, and so on. So I'm going to move on to the next scenario, and that's standardized project safety ranking and insights. And neither of these two use cases operate in a vacuum. They're actually related to one another. So as we're going through that HAZOP study, we start to update this standardized project safety ranking. And then we get to pull insights through AI too. But why is this important for a design engineer? It's very important because there's safety in design. We hear that all the time today. It's really important to be proactive instead of reactive, especially as us design engineers. We want to start designing future designs with constructability in mind, and the safety risks that come with constructability, and operability, how these facility managers are going to operate the designs that we put forward. So we have this risk dashboard that we're seeing now. It's no longer an Excel spreadsheet. It's this risk dashboard with real living data. But how is that augmented with AI? Well, an AI engine that sits behind it is now providing you with insights. It could actually go through the same user experience as this HAZOP agent, saying, hey, watch out for this assembly. We've seen a few incidents now where it's been repeated on a few projects. Maybe you should think twice about designing it this way. Or this specific engineered equipment, you should think twice about this component of it, because we've been seeing failure, and this can lead to safety incidents. So we're starting to realize how we can embed AI through these everyday scenarios, right? And the ultimate goal is to, as us design engineers, is to make sure that we put forward something that's safer, more practical, and more reliable for the folks that are actually building this and operating that moving forward. So that's just a taste. But I'm going to pass it off to my good friend Yuvi. You're now going to see the day in the life of a field engineer.
Thanks, Brad, for these great insights. So the 6 bubbles that you guys see in the screen are the use cases or the areas that we have identified where AI can transform the life of a field engineer. Similar to what Brad did, I'm going to talk 2 of these. So the first one I will go a little more detail into is risk prediction during planning and pre-operation and operation phase. So as a field engineer, you are responsible for reviewing a lot of documents, starting from your work packages, construction documents, design documents. And reviewing these documents and planning your project activities is time-consuming and take a lot of effort. What if I tell you I have an AI program which can do that in minutes? So you, as a field engineer, you would upload these documents to your doc management system, which is then connected to your project schedule. The AI program will integrate that data from your work packages using large language model processing. It will integrate that data with your project schedule. But not only that, it will bring in historical and real-time risk trends that's in your project. With all that data, through machine learning and large language model processing, the AI program will create a unique project health dashboard for your project. This project health dashboard will highlight the top 5 risks or the opportunities in your project, but also that it will give you a scale of risk events that could potentially happen in your project. With that data, not only the field engineer, the wider project team could incredibly benefit with less time involved in handling reviewing documents and stuff like that. Let's now move on to the next use case, which is weather evaluation. So again, you as a field engineer, you're constantly managing your site, solving problems, helping your team, your site team. In addition to all of that, a weather event could have a significant impact in your planning. Let's think about a scenario. So you as a field engineer, you're walking into your trailer, you're opening your laptop, start to work on your daily report. You see a pop-up in your laptop screen. And this pop-up will be driven by an AI bot that tells you there is a potential weather impact, and it's going to give you the the activities that will be affected by this weather impact. And not only that, it's going to tell you the top 3 actions that you can take as the next steps. What if you're not in your trailer? The AI bot is also capable to send you a text message to your work phone so that you're very up to date of the event that's going to come up and be prepared for it. As you can see, these are like very simple steps in leveraging AI in making a field engineer's life better. But it has a wider potential to impact the wider team, the project, leadership, and also the company. With that, let's see how AI can be leveraged to transform the life of a tradesperson.
Thanks, Evie, for the insights into the life of a field engineer. So now we're going to step into the life of a tradesperson. For our tradespeople, their day starts with reviewing the schedule, directing work crews to locations, performing risk analyses, executing work, etc. Tasks like the first 5 listed on the slide are typically conducted manually. We don't even have traditional practices to address the last 2 on the slide, identifying worker location relative to hazards, or monitoring worker health like temperature and heart rate. Here's where AI comes in. I'm going to do a deeper dive into 2 of these use cases. Our first is automate safety data collection and KPI reporting. Currently, this information is input and reviewed manually, so this can lead to inconsistent data sourcing, lagging indicators, and reactive KPIs. Cross-project comparisons can be complicated and time-consuming. So how can we improve this with AI? With AI, a platform collects all of the safety data reports in real time and creates enterprise-level KPIs. We now can provide leading indicators at a rate impossible without AI. Our tradespeople can pull this information on a daily, shiftly, or even hourly basis, and they can use this when they're doing their risk predictions or toolbox talks. Companies can compare across their project portfolios and share leading indicators directly to the tradespeople. So we can now accelerate and disseminate how we share information with boots on the ground. Our second use case, identify worker location relative to hazards. By linking wearables with generative AI, we can identify risk areas based on location and planned work activities. We use 3D models or work packages and leverage AI to identify the risk tasks and areas. AI then sets dynamic geofences that are linked to the wearables. And so our tradesperson can then be notified when they're entering a high-risk or unsafe area. Think of it like a second barricade with a tactile or auditory warning. We can even notify changes in PPE requirements. This level of clarity did not exist prior to AI. Think about how powerful this is for new hires or someone who's unfamiliar with your job site. So I encourage you to go explore the technology that's out there and see what's best for the tradespeople in your organization. With that, I'm going to hand it off to Dr. Lee for lessons learned.
Thanks, Sarah. Let me briefly share key lessons learned from the project, highlighting the common benefits and challenges we identified from 19 AI use cases. One of the most important takeaways is that these AI use cases all point to 3 common benefits, each aligned with a point in time: past, the present, and the future. First, the past, learning from historical data. AI facilitates both standardized and personalized safety training by drawing insight from extensive historical incident data. By analyzing past accident and job-specific risk profiles, AI tailors safety training content for individual workers while ensuring consistent safety messages across all job sites. The present, acting in real time. AI enhances situational awareness on the job site, enabling faster and more informed decision making. By rapidly detecting and sharing unsafe conditions, AI helps supervisors and workers to respond proactively, reducing critical reaction times and improving safety responsiveness. Third, the future, predicting and preventing hazards. AI helps anticipate high-risk scenarios and potential safety risks by using predictive analytics and machine learning. These transform our safety management from reactive process to preventive one. In short, AI helps us understand the historical data from the past, act in present, and anticipate the future risk. This temporal framing enables us to understand how AI is reshaping our safety management throughout entire project lifecycle. So integrating AI into construction safety is more than innovation. It is a critical step toward creating long-term, safer construction environment. While these benefits are compelling, adopting AI in construction safety is not always easy. Across 19 AI use cases, we identify 3 common categories of challenges. First, privacy and trust. Gaining workers' trust is essential. AI systems that monitors behaviors, safety compliance can be perceived as surveillance rather than support. To overcome this challenge, we must clearly communicate AI purposes and system design that respect privacy and earn trust from the field. Second, cost and system-level barriers. AI implementation often requires significant upfront investment in software, infrastructure, and training. In addition, AI integration in construction industry, especially with legacy systems and across multiple contractors, can be a critical issue. Third, data quality and access issue. Most of AI models heavily rely on high quality and labeled data, but construction and safety data is often fragmented, inconsistent, and inaccessible. Even when data is available, AI's decision-making process and logistics is difficult to understand and interpret. The lack of this transparency makes it difficult to train AI models and prevent field managers and workers from acting and trusting on its recommendations. In short, these challenges are not just technical. They are organizational, ethical, and cultural. To fully realize AI potential in construction safety, we must address these challenges not only by advancing technology, but also by designing and supporting trust, scalability, and user-centered, human-centered understanding. Based on our project outcome, we developed a safety AI selection guide tool to help identify, evaluate, and implement promising AI solutions tailored for specific safety management demands. Let me quickly go through how it works. This Excel-based tool is organized with 5 interlinked tabs: phase, introduction, phases, workflow, analysis, and factors. You can click on the Start button to move to the Phases tab. The Phases tab helps you explore the safety phases and associated challenges. You can select the Phases tab, and the short description will appear to confirm the context. From there, you can select the relevant use case, and it will also display the challenges it addresses. Next tab is the workflow. The workflow tab outlines step-by-step the instruction for implementing and adopting AI solutions. It also highlights expected benefits and key challenges to consider during AI integration. We have 19 the scenarios. You can take a look at all of the workflow in detail. Next step is analysis. This tab outlines the maturity level of the selected use case compared with available AI solutions and the other use cases. It also shows the expected the benefit, and the maturity level is assessed with 3 dimensions: the feasibility, impact, and adoption effort. This is the last tab, the factors. The factors tab shows critical decision factors and consideration for selecting right AI solution and for long-term AI adoption. We believe these tools enable a comprehensive assessment of AI solution in construction safety by helping assess critical success factors, review workflow step by step before you invest your resources, and create a long-term, safer construction environment with clear and actionable roadmap. Let me hand it over to Carmel.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. So as you guys can see, this AI selection guide tool was created to help narrow your focus. Because if you went into any search engine right now and looked up AI tools for construction safety, you're going to be inundated with too much information. But between AI, there's lots of applications that we want to narrow you down to find the focus of what you need to look at in order to make that search better. So we encourage you to download this tool. It is available on the app as well as the CII. This fall, we'll be posting a report, which will have a lot more information about the 19 use cases that we use that focused on design engineering, pre-operations planning and training, and execution, and which AI types of technology and tools are available. We'll be here, ask us questions. I would say none of us are AI experts, but we spend a lot of time looking at what's available and what we would want to use for our projects. And then finally, identify the right applications. Now, champions is a lot of times a word we want to use, but maybe it's not a champion, but it's a task force or it's a group that finds the right application for you at this time. Because there's an application that exists for everything, right? AI is the buzzword of the next decade, and somebody will make something to sell you. But you want to find the right application for you. So find the right individuals that can help you get to that. Finally, I want to thank our research team members. Like I said, we spent every other week together trying to come up with something to be able to present here so that we can get the information out as soon as possible so that it can help you guys make better decisions. We look forward to any questions that you guys might have. Thank you.
All right. Excuse Excuse me. All right, that was just an outstanding presentation. Some exciting technology. A reminder that we're doing it all for humans and that we're humans. Let's not forget that. People are always most important. And a last-minute Christmas in July opportunity for me to get my buddy Brad Babel, Tennessee. So as it just so happens, we both work at the same company, and it's goal season for us. So I'm going to put y'all in every meeting. I want to hear that from you from now on. So. Okay, let's get to the questions here. And we're going to lead off right here. Number one, which safety-related field tasks do you think are most suitable for AI-powered automation or monitoring, and why?
I mean, there's so many. But AI-powered automation, I think the hazard risk detection is probably the most suitable for what we would use now. Hazard risk detection is one that Sarah introduced, where it creates boundaries for you to be able to go into or not go into. This isn't new technology. This was introduced 10 years ago. I remember being at a CII conference and looking at this technology, but back then nobody wanted to be watched by Big Brother. I think we've gotten used to being watched by Big Brother and being more involved in technology, that is one that if you put it out now, that automation would help clarify risk and hazards, and then provide data that a project team could help narrow down and focus on what their actual hazards and risk might be.
Excellent. Thank you. Anybody else have anything to add?
Just to say, I think linking the wearables with the vision systems, the AI vision systems, is going to be very powerful. So yeah, it's getting through the legal barriers of, are you allowed to video everyone at your site, things like that. But that combination, I think, is going to be very powerful for field tasks.
Well, you know what? Let's just stay right there for a second, because you said something and you led off talking about the number one concern was privacy. And when I saw the hard hat on your slide with the little, looked like weight cap beacon on the back, I was waiting for this one. So here we go. How do you balance worker privacy with real-time monitoring, and what governance structures would make employees comfortable?
I think the key is transparency and inclusive governance. Workers need to clearly understand what is being monitored, why it is necessary, and how the data will be used. And in terms of data governance, third-party audit, or the auditing committee, and workers' participation in policymaking can improve the trust. When workers think they are informed and included, they view AI as a safety support rather than surveillance.
There is some technology out there that can scrub facial features and scrub any distinguishing factors so that you can only see the incident itself. So I think, again, going back to the transparency, if you inform that that's what's being recorded, then people are more likely to be willing to be recorded.
Communication is key, that's for sure. So for folks that we talk about the scenario where you have the hard hat and maybe Internet of Things and tracking the location, it's wonderful, and there's a lot of safety use cases there. But you'd have to communicate that with all stakeholders. Our union friends, some of you might be in this room with us. We love you, but they might have a problem with that. It might be considered treading on their productivity numbers and all that. So communication for sure.
Yeah, and also taking a phased approach where you first pilot the effort, see baseline, measure, and really understand if we are really getting the value out of this project. I think making sure that's being done as well will help for the going forward.
Well, thank you very much. And this next question is really a collision of two big concepts here. Forward-looking safety metrics, we all want that. And AI, anytime you do a data discussion, AI is on the predictive, prescriptive end. So here we go. Which metrics or leading indicators would convince you that an AI tool is improving safety outcomes?
Yeah, this is a good one. So I'm going to give you my 2 cents. I'm also going to let you know what I'm starting to see. Oftentimes, depending on the size and scale of what products you're taking on, what implementation you're taking on with these AI tools or software, you're going to have a system integrator who's a partner of yours in this journey, and you guys are going to identify those KPIs. So my half-baked answer here is you're also going to determine this based off of your unique needs. But let's talk about things that are more general to us, right? When we think safety, some of the more obvious but important ones are near misses and safety incidents. That's all good and that's great. We should be tracking that. Those are important metrics. But what about the less obvious ones? We're starting to draw really interesting correlations, and I say we collectively as an industry, around some of the things that really fall within our project controls folks, right? Think about scheduling, thinking about budget. What if we start to see these data-backed correlations of schedule overruns or over budget, and we start to see a rise in incidents? So those are starting to become the less obvious KPIs that are becoming more and more important to safety.
Yeah, I would say for me, the predictive analytics, we haven't really even tapped into it. I think there's a lot of mistrust of the data, as we were talking about, and a lot of, like, I don't want to commit to believing what it says. But what would convince me is if AI could predict the next incident. If AI could show me where in the past we've had issues here, and looking at your schedule, you're going to have this issue here. Because we look at all of our projects with our glasses full and with rose-colored glasses, and that nothing will ever happen. But if you had raw data that said something will happen here, and you took it and did something with it, that is really the solution that would convince me that, like, I believe it. And I think it's just we have to put our trust into it, we have to put our effort into it, we have to really trust the data that comes out of AI to want to implement something.
Okay, now we're going to end up right where we ended up yesterday with the supervision, with the frontline supervisor research team, and that is, this sounds great, but do you want to pay for it? So our last question, and Brad, you went there a couple of times just now talking about budget. If budget is not a constraint, what AI safety solution would you implement tomorrow?
Oh, okay.
Remember your ground rules.
Yeah, that's right. Rule number 2, keep in my mind. I talked about agentic AI. I know this is starting to become a buzzword, but it's for good reason. So there's solutions that are arriving, either baked into the solutions you guys have today, or solutions out there that are one-off in the marketplace. But really capitalizing on these use cases that are specific to you, that be generated from you, we would present to an AI vendor or partner to create this agentic AI for whatever that use case is. So that's what's exciting. There's a lot more that goes into that than just saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. AI vendor, we want this AI agent. Could you make it happen? And here's a check. There's a lot that goes into it. It's a partnership between you and that vendor. And there's also a lot of considerations of where your data is, data integration, data centralization, making sure that's clean data. You hear that all the time, but it's true. All the IT folks know exactly what I'm talking about. So that's what I would say, is trying to generate these one-off AI agent use cases, if budget isn't an issue, to make your lives easier in your specific roles within your organization.
Yeah, the other thing I would like to add as well is using Gen AI to produce training content that's specific to the projects. So that's kind of like a very easy win with the power of LLM that we have, where we give the work packages and things like that, and then it can spit out our training material and unique videos for our site and project, which is an easy one.
Anybody, anything else? Okay, well, let's hear it for Research Team 422.